So first up, we met the Toyota Prius C, which is an amazing vehicle, but let's face it, probably about as exciting as your household fridge. So Honda decided to fill in that gap and that void, and they targeted the segment from a completely different angle. Meet the Honda CRZ. This is the Honda CRZ, not exactly new, it's been around since 2010, but they've stuffed a whole bunch of new technology in it to upgrade it, and we're going to test that out in just a little while. But we're going to see, more importantly, if performance can have a conscience. All right, first impressions of the Honda CRZ. Well, first thing you notice in any car is going to be the interior. So let's talk about that first. And may I say, Honda have done an incredible job here. If there's another word for gorgeous, let me know, because I'm going to slip it in here. It really sets the mood from the start. I mean, you just have to look at it. It's so commanding, so involving, so sporty, and just very nicely, classily done with just the right kind, everything ergonomically placed. But it's the way it's presented to you that's really exciting. That's what I love. So as far as infotainment goes, you got your music here set up, auxiliary plugs for your iPad, as well as, well, it's very sporty. Then you've got the air conditioning mode here, which is actually really conveniently, nicely set up. I like the way they've done this. This is a very nice. Look at this. It's all in one thing. I think more people should do things like that. That is really clever. So design-wise, I really like it. And the seats, nice and supportive, sculpted. So, yep, it's got that bolstered feel. Steering wheel is first rate. This is how a nice sporty steering wheel should be. It's just simple enough, but it's got this almost deep dish feel to it, even though it's not deep dish. You've got this mesh here, all the buttons that you need, plus you've got this wonderful Sport Plus button, which we'll talk about in just a little while. You got paddle shifters here, very nicely placed. Perfect actually there for just fingertip changing of the CVT transmission. You have to point that out. Okay, visually one of the most, I think definitely the most exciting looking car in its class, because it's really, there's not much else in it. But I mean, you have to admit, it's a lot edgier than the Prius in styling. I personally love it. I mean, it's just so aggressive, it's so in your face. All these beautiful sharp details, look at that, from the headlamps, just the way it comes down, your fog lamps. It's very aggressive, but for me, it's the most aggressive part is the way it curves down like this. Just look at the lines, the way they connect there. You can see how it just follows this natural flow and very sharp edge there. It might not be for everybody, but I tell you what, it's going to turn heads. This is a car that really stands out. So over here to the back, this is where it gets a little bit controversial for some people, but personally, I like it. I mean, if you're gonna be in a car like this, you may as well scream about it. Great new setup here in the back. Strange, it's a little shallow behind here, but still, quite a decent room. If you remove this and fold the seats back, you've got some pretty decent room there. I just love the whole aggressiveness. I mean, that's, I think, what sums up this car, is all these aggressive lines. And they've got decent sized rims on them, and a nice design for the mag wheels. Looks pretty good. We're here on the CVT, something you would prefer to probably use around the city. You do have the override of the paddle controls, which is great. It kind of spices the ride up a little bit. Let's do it, and we'll shift manually this time. All right. All the buttons you need are all accessible. You got a sport button over here, a normal button, which is just for obviously normal driving, an economy mode. Now that button there does pretty much, it sets all the different things up to make it more economical. Now I'm talking everything from even the air conditioner onwards, right? And you can see it. What's really cool is you can actually see it here on the dash. It's gone green. And if I press the sport, it's gonna go red. Oh, it's so involving. It's exciting. This thing feels like a PlayStation already. Okay, so economy driving, while I'm on economy mode, it's very relaxed, super easy, effortless. I mean, it takes the chore out of driving. You could do this all day and not get tired. So they've got that down pat. The next up, what's really important is how the performance is, because that's really the whole bragging right here, right? If they're gonna pull a card here, it's gonna be the performance card, which is completely different to the Prius. This one here uses technology that actually uses an electric motor to boost power to the combustion engine. But of course, the entire segment is all about the power plants and the engines. That would make it unique and a hybrid. So what we have over here is, as you can see, just come a little closer, you got your traditional combustion engine, but unlike the Prius, you don't have a separate engine or separate electric engine here. What you have is an integrated motor assist. So all the electricals and all the battery power is working in there just to give the combustion engine an extra boost. I'm going to use that energy that I just stored in that battery to give me this performance. Now let me just see if there's a gap in traffic. We're going to flick it over to Sport. Already I can feel a change. I'm going to hit Sport Plus. Okay, gotta slow down. Yeah, definitely. It's not like a proper performance car, but you gotta admit that's a pretty damn cool sound for something that is classified as an appliance. It's an electric basic motor, so it works in conjunction. It's giving you a pretty decent sound there. So all in all, I would have to say this is a very, very rewarding drive. You get good economy in the city with the assisted motor, but the highway tends to be on par with just a regular combustion engine. I think you'd have to be really struggling to get 20 and not driving as realistically as possible, but it wouldn't be far off that, if anything. We're talking maybe around 18 or something like that. Well, that wraps up another episode of Drive. We've come to a skidding halt. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if there's anything you would like to see, or you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, why don't you get a hold of us on Drive on 9TV. That's on Facebook, or you can come to the webpage, www.jamesdeakin.ph, and you'll find Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook ways to connect. Plenty. All right, next week we have a very special issue. It's going to be a navigation episode. Also, we're going to do everything that surrounds your car. Basically, if it's on the road, we're going to put it on the air. So make sure you tune in again next week, only here on Drive.